Okay, so last time we saw app bar and Cupertino navigation bar. This time we will be seeing at bottom tab bar. We also saw normal scaffold, but this time we will be creating another scaffold that would be adaptive bottom bottom tab scaffold. So let me close all these and let's just open main.dart. So we'll have basically 3 tabs here in both the screens. Let's create another screen instead of that. So bottom tab screen. Okay, so that we don't miss out on the previous changes. Screen, and then we will just copy, or let's copy the detail screen because it's much more lesser. Bottom. So we have our bottom tab screen. Let's just quickly make a import correct, and inside this we will replace everything. Instead of adaptive scaffold, we will have adaptive bottom tab scaffold. We already have a tab scaffold for materials where there are top the above tabs below the app bar, but this time we are working on bottom navigation bar, so that's why I'm naming it like that. So let's create another folder here in the widgets. Let's create a directory. The directory would be so not needed to create a directory. We already have a scaffold. Since it's a scaffold type of widget, so we'll put it here itself. We will name it adaptive yes. So in the bottom tab screen, we'll simply make an import here, which is nice. Okay, what this bottom tab scaffold in general will have, it will have 2 things. It will have tab items, which will be our tabs, basically, and the 3 or 4 items or 5 or 6 items lying at the bottom. So it would be our tab items. We'll declare it once in this file, and those will look different in both the platforms. We'll see. This should be a shorter video because we are only covering one thing here. Previously I have grouped the things based on their usage. You can't separate them when you are using it. So basically you can't separate scaffold from app bar. If you have a scaffold, you will mostly have a app bar as well. So I have covered a scaffold separately, and then when you have a app bar, I have covered app bar with sliver app bar. Also I wanted to show sliver app bar, that's why I covered detail page. So 5 things we have covered till now. Today we are going to cover this bottom bar navigation. We will declare a list of tab items, so it will be a static const list. In general, both of the bottom navigation bars will have bottom navigation bar item. So we will have icon. We can declare them as of this type. You can say icons dot home rounded, and the name would be home. Let's say the label will be home. Okay. Similarly, we can have 2 more items. I will have just 2 more items here. Let's say favorite here. Great. We have 3 tab items. Now let's have 3 tab views as well. Okay, because without when one tab is selected, the view will change. When the other tab is selected, the other view will come into place, right? So for that we will have some tab view items as well. For that I will just have simple centered text. Settings menu. So our tabs are ready, our tab view is ready. We just need to supply these 2 things here. Now we have to work on these 2 things here. So we will go here and we'll declare a final list of bottom navigation bar item, and it would be tab items. Those are visible at the bottom, and then we'll have final list of widget here, which will have tab view items. Great. We'll mark them as required, because without these there is no point in having tabs, right? If tab is there, relevant widget will also be visible. Again, we will not use this iOS here, so we'll remove it from here and put it here. So if it's iOS, what is that widget that forms the bottom bar? So basically we will have to use a Cupertino tab scaffold this time. You remember we used Cupertino page scaffold for normal pages, but if it's a tabbed layout, we have to use Cupertino tab scaffold. And for that we have a tab bar and a tab builder. So tab bar will build the bottom tabs. We'll use this, and it requires some items, and those items will be tab items. Okay, fine till now. And we will see a bottom bar for material after this. So first let's build a tab builder. This tab builder takes in two things: context and index. And then here we will be returning Cupertino tab view. It's already there for us, so we just need to supply again this. Here will be a builder, and it will take a context, so we don't need it right now, but here we need to have tab view items and the index basically. So this is gonna build based on the current tab which is selected. Automatically all this functionality will be done with the help of Cupertino tab scaffold, Cupertino tab bar, and Cupertino tab view. So yeah, let's see how does it look like. Let's remove this iOS condition and let's try to run it. Yes, let's try to run it. It should run basically. Yes, so we see main content, we click on favorites, we click on settings, and it perfectly works, right? Similarly, we should be making a bottom bar for Android as well. So we will bring back those conditions and we will create a scaffold here. Inside this scaffold, we will have a bottom navigation bar. Okay, I told you that when we were creating adaptive scaffold, we can use those things, but how? Like this. So whenever we want to do something like this, we can do this. We can use bottom navigation bar here. Inside that it requires items, and then we supply the tab items to it. Okay, and yeah, that is it. Let's see how it is how it does it look like. So we will run in Android and we will see how this renders. So basically we have these three tabs. Nothing happens because there is no controller. There is no tab bar and tab view combination there in the bottom navigation bar. It's just sitting alone, right? So we need to supply a body to it, which will change based on the current item selected in the bottom navigation bar. For that we will be using indexed stack, and inside that we will be having our children. These children will be tab view items. Okay, so we also have to specify what is the current index for that. So for that we will need a current index variable or something like that, right? So, and we will also change that current index based on whatever bottom navigation bar is clicked, right? So we need to make this widget a stateful widget because of that reason. and then we will try to have a variable that will be int current index, and we'll say that 0, the first index is the selected one. We'll say current index as current index. Let's try to run it, and you will see that the main content is our content main selected view. When I restart the application with 1 as selected, I will see that favorites is that index stack. We also want to make sure that the current tab is also selected based on the tab view. So this current index will go in bottom navigation bar and say that I am the current index. Okay. So now this is also selected. When I click on this, nothing happens. When I click on home, nothing happens. Why? Because for this we need to have this function on tab, and this function will do nothing but just call a set state, which will mark current index as the index. From where we will get this index? We'll get the index from here. We'll set this current index as the current index, and then index stack will rebuild, and also bottom navigation bar. When we restart the application, it's 1 as of now. When I click on home, home is highlighted, main content is visible, and both the functionalities work together. Now, nothing similar like this is required for Cupertino tab view, but you can still do it. So there is one parameter on tab here as well. So what we will do, if we want to achieve similar functionalities between both the widgets, we will still have this, so that later if we want to enhance on tab functionality, then we can do that, right? If we want to log something, then we can do that. But without this as well, Cupertino works. So this is the end of this video. We have worked on bottom navigation bar and bottom and Cupertino tab scaffold in this video. In the next one, it would be another major good widget where we will be seeing how you can create adaptive list in iOS as well as Android. So the list will look like iOS list, and the list will look like Android list in respective platforms. So in the next video, you will see that.